All right, everybody, welcome back to Unit 2, Lesson 5. We have 4 new rules to talk about today. They are going to be the rules of this cosine of x, sine of x, e to the power of x, and then the natural log of x. And remember that e to the x and ln of x are going to be inverses. Cosine and sine are not inverses, but they're definitely a pair. They are the coordinates on the unit circle. And they obviously just go together with a lot of different things. So, here's what you need to know. The derivative, or ddx, of sine of x is equal to the cosine of x. The derivative of the cosine of x is going to be equal to the negative sine of x. The derivative of e to the x is just going to be equal to e to the x. And the derivative of the natural log of x will be equal to 1 over x. So let's practice some of this stuff. We'll start with e to the x. If f of x is going to be equal to 12e to the x, f prime of x will be equal to 12e to the x. This is very simple. No matter what constant you have up front, f of x is going to be equal to 12 pi divided by e squared times cosine of 55. This will be times sine of 102.6. E to the x times e to the power of x. F prime of x is going to be equal to the exact same thing. All right? No matter what constant you have up front, this will always be equal to e to the x times whatever constant obviously you have up front. We don't mess with the constants at first. So, anytime you see a limit as h approaches 0 of, let's say, e to the x plus h minus e to the x over h, you'll know the answer immediately. It's just going to be e to the x. Again, if you see anything with a point, like, let's say e to the x minus e squared over x minus 2, and it's going to go to 2, then you'll automatically know that this is e squared. You don't even have to think about it. Because f of x is going to be equal to f prime of x if f of x is equal to ex. If e to the x is equal to f of x, then f of x will be equal to f prime of x. And so on and so forth, right? All right, that was pretty simple. That was the first rule. Now let's move on to the second rule that we have to talk about, which is sine of x. Now, if f of x is going to be equal to sine of x, then f prime of x will be equal to cosine of x. Pretty simple, right? Here's where I see a lot of people getting tripped up. They'll see the limit as h approaches 0 of f of let's say, sine of pi over 3 plus h minus sine of pi over 3 over h. And what they'll do is they'll take the sine of pi over 3, which is going to be root 3 over 2, instead of taking the cosine of pi over 3, which is 1/2. And they'll get it wrong. It's actually going to be 1/2. Same thing with limit at a point. Then we'll go over cosine of x now. And if f of x is equal to cosine of x, then f prime of x will be equal to minus sine of x. Right? So again, we'll do another example, this time limit at a point. Limit as x approaches 3 of, let's do 3 pi, of sine of x minus sine of 3 pi, which is obviously going to not be, it's going to be, that'll just be sine of x minus 0, so we'll just leave it as sine of x over x minus 3 pi, right? Because sine of 3 pi is equal to 0. And again, it is not equal to 0. Remember this. Always remember this. This is not equal to 0. This limit, so rewrite it, x minus 3 pi, not equal to 0, but it is equal to the cosine of 3 pi. Oh wait, crap. This is the sine. I'm supposed to be talking about cosine. Let's do limit as x approaches 3 pi of cosine of x minus, that's going to be plus 1 actually, because it's minus 1. It'll be minus -1, which will be automatically plus 1. And that'll be x minus 3 pi. And remember, this is not equal to the cosine of 3 pi, which is meaning it's not equal to -1 in this case. But it is equal to the sine of 3 pi, meaning this is going to be equal to 0. All right. We got one last one to talk about, and then we can get straight into the practice. So let's do ln of x. If f of x is equal to ln of x, then f prime of x, also you'll have to forgive me for using f of x each time, it's just the most I'm comfortable with, is going to be equal to 1 over x. Therefore, f of x, so therefore, let's say that f of x is going to be equal to ln of x. Right, what you would be incentivized to do is go back on your log rules, and what your log rules state is that excuse me for a second. So what you're gonna be incentivized to do is you're gonna look at this, and you might like don't mess with this constant. Remember that, like, you're never supposed to mess with this constant. Okay? So this will just be equal to simply f prime of x will be equal to 2 over x. Remember that our constant always just stays away until the very end. Okay, so for example, I've used limit at a point and multiple times. So let's say they just give you a random function. We'll call this one g of x, actually. We'll call this one a little different. We'll say this is equal to 3 ln of x plus 5 ln of x. And then g prime of x, that means it must be equal to 3 over x plus 5 over x. And then if you want to, you can cross multiply and then, try to get that to be equal to 3x plus x squared plus 5x squared, which that means g prime of x, will be equal to 8 of x. Will equal to 8 times that will be equal to 8x divided by x squared, which will be equal to 8 over x. Or you could have just automatically done that. Oh my god. Sorry for overcomplicating it like that. You didn't even have to cross multiply. You could have just left it as the x. You could have just done 3 over x plus 5 over x is equal to 8 over x. All right. Or, I mean, from the start, you could have seen that this was equal to this. 8 ln of x is equal to g of x. That means g prime of x is equal to 8 over x. You could have done this as well from the start. I may have overcomplicated it slightly. All right. Let's get into our practice. I'll give you guys 4 practice problems to do, and then I'll give you the answers at the end. So f of x, let's call this g of x, let's call this L of x, and then we'll call this h of x. This will be equal to 3 cosine of x. This will be equal to minus sine of x. This will be equal to, we'll call this 3e to the x. And this will be equal to the ln of, this will be equal to 3 ln of x. All right. So I'll let you do these for a moment. Pause your screen. I'll tell you the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, oh, by the way, I wanted you to obviously derive them. So g prime of x is going to be equal to minus 3 sine of x. F prime of x is going to be equal to minus cosine of x. L prime of x will be equal to 3e to the x. Remember, no change for that. H prime of x will be equal to 3 over x. Yeah, all right. So I'm going to give you some homework problems. And we'll see. Well, I'll give you 2 homework problems. So, problem 1, problem 2, and this will be your homework. All right. So the first one I'll give you, we'll call this f of x and we'll call this g of x. 2 most standard functions you're going to see. We're going to call this e to the x plus sine of x minus ln of x. Then we'll do e to the x minus sine of x plus cosine of x. And of course, I want you to find me the derivative. I'll ask you for f prime of 3 and then g prime of 5. We didn't, I just gave you g prime of x. Now I'm asking you for the derivative at a specific point. I also want f prime of x. I want the general term. And then I want f prime of 1. And we'll go over the homework answers for next lesson. We'll go over the homework answers for this lesson in the next lesson. All right. Have a good day, everybody.